cop decides to put trash on somebody else's car. As a matter of fact, let's just go to that picture first. So this cop decided to put trash on the vehicle of another person. Not just a little bit of trash, that's a whole lot of trash, okay? Let me give you the background. Let's put his picture up again and the victim of his crime. An Omaha police officer ticketed last week after dumping trash on a neighbor's car has resigned. William Klees, 31, was caught by his neighbor, Quatisha Valentine, taking a bag of trash out of their apartment complex's dumpster, ripping open the bag and then deciding to empty the contents of the bag on top of her car. This happened on November 6th. Once again, here's the picture of what he did, all right? After she saw a man dump trash on her car, she said she went outside to confront him. Valentine said she recognized him as Klees and had met him only one time before when he was wearing his police uniform. During the interaction, she said they had talked about how long each had been living at the residence. She remembered that he said the only issue he'd had in the area were homeless people who were nearby. Valentine wrote that she replied that the people weren't a problem. Let's put up the police chief. This is just a really weird and ironic story. And it has me questioning the psychology of this particular cop. So the police chief, his name is Schmaderer, had ordered an internal investigation into the matter on November 7th. So remember, this happened on the 6th, he ordered it on the 7th. The police chief says he has moved out of the apartment building. This person has been with the department for 5 years, okay? And was placed on paid administrative leave on November 8th. So look at the timeline. 6, it happens. 7, there's an internal investigation. And on the 8th, he decides to leave. The police chief says in a written statement that the officer resigned before an internal affairs investigation was scheduled, all right, before it could be done. The resignation was accepted. The Omaha Police Department will provide documentation to the Nebraska Crime Commission seeking a revocation of his law enforcement certificate. Now this is interesting because they act as if there's nothing they can do beyond the administrative dynamic. That's simply not true. This is a crime. This bears a criminal penalty. If she would have done it to him, if she would have dumped the trash on his car, do you think there would have been an administrative response or criminal response? Would she have been arrested? Of course, no question about it. But for some reason, because he's the police, he gets to avoid a criminal penalty. Naturally, he doesn't need to be a cop. Somebody who would do something like this has other things in their background, extremely problematic. We just don't have it for the record. But we cannot ignore the reality that it is a crime. And we cannot ignore the fact that he's not being punished for a crime whatsoever, even though he committed a crime against a black woman. See, this is part of the reason why people do not like the police. It's not because police simply do dumb stuff sometimes. It is because when they do dumb things or criminal things or negligent things, they do not have the same or even similar penalty as one of us, a regular citizen. Now, cops are supposed to be held to a higher standard of law, a higher standard of accountability, not a lower one. But time and time again, their profession is different than any other. If you are a doctor, you're held to a higher standard of responsibility. If you are a psychiatrist or psychologist, professor, whatever it may be, you are held to a higher standard. If you are a cop, they turn it upside down and you're held to a lower one. All right, Jordan, thoughts here?
Yeah, that's the issue here. You know, these are people who have jobs where they purportedly protect and serve. But in practice, that isn't the reality at all. Like you say, if she put trash on a cop car, if she even scratched a cop car, she would be arrested and they would slap her with tons of charges. But the other way around, it's okay, here's a paid vacation. Oh, you want out? Okay, good luck at whatever police department you inevitably end up at. I'd be shocked if he loses his certification or ability to remain a police officer. That's just the world we live in. They even for murder, they rarely face any consequences. Like, what's this to people like that? So yeah. I'm kind of surprised, but not surprised. But also, again, if it was her, it wouldn't just be that she was in trouble. It'd be a national story. Right-wing media would run with it and be like, look at the attacks that Democrats are fueling on our beloved cops.
Yep.
This Black Lives Matter protester, Antifa radical is attacking our beloved precious cops. Like, it would just be a national story. But because it's the other way around, you're covering it, thankfully, but it's not gonna be on Fox News tonight.
Yeah, guaranteed. And here's the other thing. And if you blink, you'll miss it. They accepted his resignation. They don't have to. You don't have to accept the resignation. You can reject it and fire the person to make a point, to make an example. Kind of like when cops decide to hold a press conference and say, we're gonna make an example out of people like this. They never do it for their own, no matter what their own may do.